First Place for Youth was created to help support young people who were transitioning out of foster care. At the time we were created, the founders of the organization, who had both been familiar with foster care, heard and saw the stories of young people who woke up on their 18th birthday with their bags packed in their hands, with no place to go. First Place for Youth said, we want to solve this. We want to be the solution for these young people. We know where these young people are. We know when they're going to become homeless. We know what we need to do to solve this situation. That is why First Place for Youth was founded. First Place is seeking to accomplish reducing the disparities between these young people who have transitioned out of foster care and their non-foster care peers. Each year, about 26,000 young people transition out of foster care without the support that they need to make that critical transition to becoming productive adults in our society. We believe that we have the solution to this problem. Our transition in place model that has scattered site housing, which provides young people with a safe, affordable place to stay, coupled with emotional support, as well as intensive services around employment and education to put them on the right path for a future in our country. The things that make our organization successful is the experience that we have from working with thousands of young people over the last 15 years, helping them make that critical transition from foster care to adulthood. The other thing that makes us successful is our advocacy work, where we're working to change the policies and the regulations that impact young people, not just the ones that we see, but the ones who are transitioning out across our nation. What makes First Place effective is the people. It's the people who are actually doing the work. It is how we hire. It is the culture of high expectations and holding ourselves accountable for what young people are able to achieve. It's people who actually believe that young people can do the things that we expect of them, that don't hold young people back, that don't tell young people that that is not possible. What makes First Place successful is the people and the culture of the people who we employ to work with these critical young people who are going to do amazing things in our society. The way that we measure success at First Place is how do young people do once they've experienced First Place versus those young people who haven't had the opportunity to experience First Place. 85% of our young people after First Place are living in stable, affordable housing, whereas 65% of young people who transition out of foster care without First Place end up homeless. 99% of the young people who enter our program who are parents don't have second kids and don't lose their kids to the child welfare system, whereas 30% of young people who don't have access to First Place either have second kids or lose their child to the foster care system. We measure success by are we breaking the cycle of poverty and dependence on the foster care system with the young people that we serve. What people often get wrong about First Place is they think about us as a housing program, as someone who houses or an organization that houses kids. We actually don't think of ourselves as a housing program. We think of ourselves as a youth development program where we're teaching the skills of employment, persistence, and education, and that we use housing as a conduit or a foundation to achieve those goals. Another thing that people get wrong about us is our emphasis on education. We believe that education is the key to leveling the playing field for our young people. And in order to do this, we must help them get enrolled in school and stay enrolled in school. We take care of the things that don't happen during the school hours. We take care of the things that prevent young people who are otherwise smart, and talented from actually being in the classroom. We prevent those things from happening so that they can actually focus on their educational attainment. First Place has received numerous awards and accolades for its work with young people transitioning out of foster care, including the James Irvine Leadership Award, as well as the prestigious Annie E. Casey Fellowship. However, what we're most proud of is the work that we've done with the young people who've been through the doors of the First Place program. And beyond that, the young people whose lives we've impacted through our advocacy work across the nation. Some of the historical challenges of First Place have all to do with the challenges of the young people that we're working with. Young people who are transitioning out of foster care have been removed from their homes because of abuse and neglect. That is a very traumatic experience, and young people haven't had a normal childhood like most of us have had. Instead, they have been raised by social workers. They may have never seen a person get up and go to work. People are always coming to them for work. This leads to disruptions in their lives. Sometimes they are moved an average of 9 times. A lot of our young people go to 4 or 5 different high schools. This leads to them being undereducated and underemployed. And as they're trying to compete in a very tough job market with people who are overly educated and overly experienced, leads to some really tough times. But we're up for that challenge. We help our young people find internships and volunteer to fill that resume with things that they enjoy doing. And we convince people to take a chance on our young people as we have taken a chance on them. What First Place would do with additional resources is serve more young people, providing them with the same quality service and care that we have for the last 15 years. We would do this in targeted U.S. cities where we could actually serve a vast majority of the young people transitioning out and creating a tipping point to solve this problem in our nation. Young people who are transitioning out of foster care, if you provide those services in essentially 6 states, you have the opportunity to hit 60% of the young people transitioning out. Therefore, creating that tipping point to solve this problem in our nation. If we had more resources, the gap that we would fill would be to scale our program, not just to young people who are transitioning out of foster care, but to all vulnerable young people in our society. Those young people who are languishing in bad schools in the public school system in our urban parts of our country. Those young people who have been involved with the juvenile justice system. Those young people who are now involved in sex trafficking. We believe that the intervention that we have mastered and provided for young people transitioning out of foster care can work with any young person who needs a loving family, support, and the opportunity to do things better for their future.